Hello, everyone, and welcome to another action-packed edition of the OverMark Podcast. We're your hosts, Dave and TJ. Today, we're going to be talking to you about Raw from June 30th, 2025. We got a little bit of the news. We got a new segment called The Forbidden Gimmick, and we see Pusher Pass coming back for this episode. Don't forget to get out there and follow us on all of our socials for more OverMark content at OverMark ENT, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify. Like, comment, and subscribe on all of our stuff, please, so that we can tap out old algorithm and defeat him, dude. And we're going to jump right into it. We got, of course, WWE Raw and
the OverMark Entertainment WWE Raw review.
That's true. And they had an attendance of, looks like 13,432, set up for 13,837. It says available tickets 405. Might have been a little more than that. It might have been a little less than that. I didn't hear them say that it was a sellout on the event. Did you hear that at all, TJ?
Nah, I don't think I did. They just said they were jam packed.
Yeah. Well, the crowd looked good. It's not like it looked like it was empty.
That place was stacked, man. It was a good look. It's a good looking place.
Yeah, I've got it on right now. Actually, usually I have it on when we do this, just because it's streamed and you can just throw it on. But yeah, looking at it right now on TV, the crowd looks good. Well, I mean, not good as in attractive. Some of these people. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We got Rhea Ripley opening the show, and Mommy's here. Rhea Ripley limps her way to the ring like she just finished beating up Gotham City, and the crowd squeals like she's handing out free black lipstick. Corey Graves point out she's moving slow because of the street fight on Saturday. Either that, or she just discovered leg day. Rhea grabs the mic and welcomes us to Monday Night Mommy, because branding is everything, folks. And she says now that Raquel and the Judgment Day drama are behind her for now, she's got to figure out her next move. Maybe finally cash in on those Hot Topic reward points. But before Rhea can declare war on another poor soul, IYO SKY's music hits, and out comes the Women's World Champion floating like a stylish anime final boss. She did look pretty cool. Rhea actually smiles, probably because she's about to get handed her championship match without even jumping through someone backstage. Or without even jumping someone backstage. I can't talk. I don't know. Love that for her. IYO grabs the mic and basically says, "You can't spell evolution without me," which is both untrue and incredibly on brand. She says Pierce gave her the power to choose her challenger, and she's picking Rhea. Because when you're that good, you might as well fight the final boss right away. Rhea, touched by this heartfelt anime rivalry moment, says she respects IYO, but also that she's going to take her title and possibly her soul at Evolution. I wonder what that entails. The mind could only guess. They both respectfully stare each other down. IYO holds up the title like Simba on Pride Rock. And the circle of life continues. No, I'm just kidding. And they have an off-mic chat that probably went something like, "You cool with a table spot?" They're probably talking about catering. Oh, you should have that grilled chicken.
Yeah. It's funny, man. They were smiling at each other during this whole thing. Like, they just couldn't stop smiling. It was strange. It's like, I get the impression that all they do is fuck with each other backstage, and every time they see each other, they're just goofing off. And that translates into they can't even look at each other fucking seriously.
Maybe.
That's what it seems like.
I'm not sure why they do that. Yeah. I assume that they are very friendly backstage. Yeah, that's a safe assumption.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting, though.
Maybe very friendly.
Gonna have a Rhea win.
Maybe. I mean, IYO's had it for a while.
They're not doing much with her with it either. She's barely...
Doesn't seem like it.
She's just always in the back and has a match occasionally.
Yep.
I don't know if she's hurt or what the deal is, but you don't really see her too often.
No, we just had Night of the Champions and she didn't wrestle on it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of somebody else that isn't wrestling, we're going to go backstage to Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. Backstage, Dominic Mysterio is giving a pep talk to Finn Balor and JD McDonough, the Dollar Tree version of the Avengers, before they go do something vaguely threatening and entirely unsuccessful, which is funny because for one day, that's not true. So AJ Styles comes in, looking like your uncle who just figured out how to use a Keurig. Dom immediately flashes a doctor's note like he's trying to get out of gym class. He warns AJ, if you touch me, you don't get your title shot. You can practically hear the imaginary gas from the invisible crowd behind the camera. AJ calmly whips out his reading glasses because, yes, folks, he's that level of old man energy now, and dramatically reads the diagnosis. Dominic is a punk ass. I think that's what he said, at least. Medical
that's
grade,
what he said.
Yeah, medical grade burn here. 10 out of 10 delivery from AJ. And AJ threatens to slap the mullet off Dom's head. Then he walks off. Dom, channeling maximum middle school energy, mutters that he didn't want to beat up the elderly anyways. And right on cue, AJ reappears like a vengeful grandpa who heard someone dissing shuffleboard. And Dom immediately raises a note like it's a cross repelling a vampire. The note says, no contact, but unfortunately for Dom, it doesn't protect against verbal smackdowns or the internet roasting him for next week. But yeah, the Judgment Day is killing it right now. I like most of the stuff that they're involved in.
Yeah, it's crazy that they're probably one of the best things on the show as of late.
Every single one of them has a belt too. It's funny.
Yeah, it's great. Literally all of them right now.
But good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah, they deserve it. They're all entertaining as hell.
Judgment Day's been hanging in there. I mean, shit, what's that? Would have been like 2 years now?
Something like that. I think it might be longer. They popped up the same time as the Bloodline, right?
Something like that.
I know it was around there.
A little after.
I wasn't watching when they first popped up, and I know Edge kind of started the whole thing, so it couldn't have been.
Yeah, him, Priest, and Rhea.
How long's Edge been in AEW? That'll give you a fucking hint as to when that was started.
2022. It was formed in 2022 at WrestleMania 38.
Wow. That's something else. So what's like 3 years, huh?
Yep.
But anyways,
that's a long run. We'll have to maybe cover that at some point.
And they might be close to ending or not. I don't know. This, Finn's the thing that keeping the whole thing interesting to some extent. But anyways, speaking of the Judgment Day, why don't you take us on in this World Tag Team Championship match between the Judgment Day and the New Day, the Days, Day versus Day.
Wow, I did not. That did not occur to me at any point until right now. I don't know why. Anyway, we kick things off with Finn Balor versus Kofi Kingston, the Breakfast Club edition. Kofi, ever the generous guy, tries to offer Finn some carbs before the match because nothing says high stakes tag like a pre-match muffin suggestion. They exchange pleasantries and wrestling moves like it's friendly spar until Finn decides he's had enough niceties and throws a kick like someone just skipped his Spotify queue. JD McDonough tags in, lands a leg kick that gets a whooping 1 count. Proceeds to throw Kofi around like he's trying to win. Wrestler most likely to be ignored in a Judgment Day promo. Hey, that does happen to him a lot. JD lands a penalty kick on Kofi outside, throws in a cheap shot on Xavier just for fun, but Kofi fights back and sets JD up like he's about to audition for rope hanging for dummies. Xavier stomps on his back and breaks into a Ric Flair tribute act, complete with strutting and attitude. Commercial break, because God forbid we see a full tag match uninterrupted. Yeah, for real. Just do one less backstage bullshit or something and run a commercial when you would be doing that. But anyway, back from break, let's pretend Xavier is the legal man forever territory. JD does his best to stay alive and actually hits an X Factor like he's channeling early 2000 Billy Kidman, minus the wife and theme music. Finn tags in and starts double stomping everything with a pulse. The final cut gets a 2 count on Xavier. Kofi eats a chop just to remind him he's not safe. Things go into full chaos mode from here. Sling blades, knees, stomps, moonsaults, crotch trauma. That's right, you heard that right. Belt shots, near falls, and one reminder that nobody in the match knows what a legal man is anymore. Xavier and Kofi hit the midnight hour, and for a second we all believe, but only for 2 seconds, because Finn kicks out like someone told him they were canceling his push. Eventually, Xavier gets crotched on the top rope, time-honored wrestling tradition. JD hits that top rope C4 that nearly sends both of them to another timeline, and it's moonsault plus coup de grace. Equal history has been made in Pittsburgh. Literally 0 people will remember this match in 3 weeks. The winners are Finn Balor and JD I Can't Feel My Spine McDonough. It was 9 minutes and 22 seconds that we'll never get back in our lives. It was a 3-star match, mostly for not falling apart with the mid-match chaos. It wasn't that bad, but it's probably one of the better.
It was the best match of the night. It was a pretty decent match. They really picked it up towards the end.
I agree with that.
But yeah, there was a little bit of post-match too.
Was there? Let's see.
Dominic comes out to celebrate with his boys like he just did something. But then Pyro goes off, and everyone raises their belts, and Dom looks like a kid who brought home a group project, A+, after only showing up for one meeting. Heel versus heel matches are usually crowd death sentence, but the Pittsburgh crowd decided to spend the entire match dunking on the New Day instead. And honestly, that's probably fair enough, I'd say. I've actually liked the New Day's run, but I see a lot of people being critical of it, but it's just what they have for them, I've seen them hit it out of the park before. Their past heel work's been pretty decent, and I always like them on commentary. They're funny.
It's just one of those things when they say creative doesn't have anything for you, then that's bad creative. Your job's to come up with shit for the wrestlers that you have.
Yeah, it is, and I don't see how you couldn't come up with something for them. But what do I know, huh? But anyways, we'll go to this backstage interview with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and Jackie Redmond interviews a frustrated Bayley about her Intercontinental Championship ambitions. Bayley says her focus hasn't changed despite Lyra Valkyria interfering, and Valkyria walks in saying her issue was Becky Lynch, not Bayley, and questions who Bayley even is anymore. As tensions rise, Adam Pearce interrupts and announces a match between them later tonight to determine the new #1 contender for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Valkyria says, "See you in the ring, friend," and Pearce mutters, "Happy Monday." Yeah, not bad, just more the same. It's like the never-ending tale of these 3 chicks here.
Yep.
Not really too much more to talk about with that, but we got this video package here with a Goldberg career retrospective. Why don't you tell us about that?
This too. Well, next up we get a very intense video package hyping the ongoing testosterone standoff between Goldberg and Gunther, or as I like to call it, when chest hair collides. The whole thing is set to a moody angst of 3 days grace because apparently we're legally required to soundtrack every grudge match like it's 2007. I personally would prefer if they did it like it was 1999, but whatever. And someone just got betrayed in a Call of Duty clan. And yes, they're still around. Who knew? Good for them. No shade, just genuine surprise. It's like bumping into an old friend at the gym who now sells protein powder. And look, before anyone gets mad, yes, I'm sure the new stuff slaps or whatever, but forgive me for not knowing. Cincinnati radio hasn't played anything released after 2010 unless it features Pitbull or a country guy named Chase. Anyway, the video itself is full of the usual Goldberg snarling like someone parked in his driveway, and Gunther looking like he's about to powerbomb a statue just to prove a point. You know the drill. Slow-mo spears, angry German yelling, lots of camera zooms into nothing. Anyway, it's coming. Goldberg versus Gunther. Meat versus more meat. And now, I hate everything about you stuck in my head for the rest of the night, so thanks, WWE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Fucking jerks.
Wow.
I don't like that song. I don't like that band.
Why would you?
I don't like this video package. I don't like Goldberg. I do like Gunther, but there's a whole lot of other things that I don't like offsetting the things that I do like here.
What?
Yeah. What do you think about this?
I don't know. Just they gotta have fucking packages for the shit on the show about the match that they're about to have on Saturday night. What's it, like a week or 2 away? So I mean, it's
the 12th, something like that.
Yeah, we don't have too much longer then. It'll be here before you know it, and then we'll move on. I'm sure Seth Rollins will cash in then, or like Goldberg will beat Gunther, which is fucking stupid, and then Seth will cash in on him. But we'll see. Maybe they've been doing the not obvious stuff here and there, so maybe they'll get us with that again. And here we got something going on. It's the Chad Gable and Penta confrontation. Last week, Chad Gable made the fatal mistake of yelling at Penta El Zeromado like he wasn't talking to a man who once ripped his own glove off to scream in Spanish before super kinging someone into another dimension. And as expected, Gable got sacrificed faster than a red shirt on Star Trek. Fast forward to today, and Gable's now rocking a stylish arm sling and that look in his eye that says, "I'm still calling plays even if I can't lift my coffee mug." He pulls the remaining members of America Made together for a quick TED Talk and tells them to hold down the fort, which is code for try not to embarrass me while I'm high on my post-op pain meds. Adam Pearce strolls in with his usual "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed" energy and casually confirms that El Grande Americano is going to be out for a while too. Like he was like, "Oh, I guess that means Americano's not going to be here too," to Gable. So pouring out for the Star Spangled Mask, and it's going to be a temporary retirement right next to Cody's neck tattoo dreams. Yeah, never going to let that down, huh? The tattoo.
No, that's not great.
With Gable out, he needs someone to step up. That someone, Ivy Nile. Because when you lose a micromanaging wrestling dad, you replace him with a jack silent assassin who could probably tear your ACL just by flexing. Maybe, I don't know. But the Creed brothers, bless them, immediately go into full panic mode like toddlers who just lost their mom in a Walmart. What do we do without Chad? They're on the verge of forming a prayer circle until Chad reassures them with one simple directive: just listen to Ivy. So now Ivy Nile is officially the captain of teams, flips, and singlets, and the Creeds are just going to have to learn how to win matches without a 5'8" motivational speaker barking orders every 6 seconds. Todd Speed. But then, not too bad, I guess. Right?
It was a decent deal.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chad, I was just open the news here and reported a little bit ago. Says that according to WrestleOps here, Chad Gable has successfully undergone surgery and now on the road to recovery. So he already had surgery.
Somebody like that's going to. It's obvious that they're working out a lot and they care about their health and physical, shit.
I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He's giving a peace sign. He's got some kind of weird thing here. I don't know what that is. What the fuck? Anyway, Chad Gable, speedy recovery, brother.
They had a lot of backstage segments in this show.
Jesus Christ, I know.
I'm not complaining. I kind of
got to start skipping some of them. Some of them, not all of them. Not this episode either. I'm just,
I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying they just had a lot of backstage segments. All kinds of shit happening in the back. But anyways, it's just tag title plans discussion, which is, the women's tag titles. Backstage, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are once again doing their weekly cosplay as divorced co-parents trying to split holiday custody of the WWE roster. Enter Finn Balor and JD McDonough, still glowing from their recent gold snatching like two guys who just robbed a Claire's. Finn, never one to not meddle, suddenly has a bright idea for the women's tag team championship, because nothing says strategic planner like a guy who just started double stomping people again. His big pitch: pair Raquel Rodriguez with Roxanne Perez. Just grab the smallest baby face possible and throw her next to the tallest woman on the roster, right? It's WWE logic. Yeah. Chemistry is optional. But wait, there's more. Finn sells it like a late night infomercial. You'll get matches on both Raw and SmackDown. That's 2 brands for the price of 1. Adam and Pearce do the classic GM move of squinting at each other like they're calculating how much budget this is going to blow, then agree, but with a twist. Raquel and Roxanne will defend the titles at Evolution in a fatal 4-way match against teams from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, because when your tag division is thin, just throw 4 teams in a blender and call it prestige, right? Everyone nods like this is a normal conversation and not just a chaotic group project pitch 5 minutes before the bell. Nick Aldis beams with joy like he just solved a world peace, while Adam Pearce looks like a man who knows this is all going to end in table spots and regret. So they finally got plans, huh? I mean, we were calling this whole, not that match,
but this for weeks.
Yeah, but it was obvious. We're not fucking, rocket scientists or anything by any means, but I'm just saying we called it.
Yep.
We've been calling a lot of stuff. I feel like it's almost been
for a long time.
Well, I feel like a lot of the shit we've been saying, it's like 100% so far. We're not biting on shit that could not be real. You know, if we're saying something, I feel like it's at least like, you know, you can trust us. We so far we have a pretty good track record, huh?
We're trying.
Yeah. I mean, it's just obvious.
So
Did Dave
far, so
Meltzer
good.
say it? Don't fucking go around sprouting it like it's fucking goddamn truth, right?
Right. Yeah, that may not be true at all. But anyway, what is true is the next up we had Rusev versus Sheamus, and it's from the opening tie-up, you can tell this one's going to be less about finesse and more about two baked hams slamming into each other for 15 minutes. Man, this match did really suck to me. We start with the usual test of strength, which goes nowhere because apparently they're evenly matched in stubbornness and neck width. Shoulder blocks don't work. Forearms get traded like Pokemon cards, and eventually Sheamus decides the best offense is mouth stretching, because who needs dignity in a
He
fight?
calls that the Predator.
Rusev gets fired up, kicks Sheamus like he owes him Bulgarian taxes, and hits a powerbomb out of the corner that looks like it took a year off of both of their lives. Sheamus rolls out for a breather and meets Rusev with some quality floor violence just in time for your favorite part of every match, the sudden commercial break. They like to get these things in here for some reason. Back from the break.
They gotta pay for the sale.
Yeah, that's true. Rusev and Sheamus in a chin lock of doom. Oh, the purchase of doom, which is wrestling code for we needed to fill 90 seconds. Sheamus breaks free and hits some Irish hammers, which legally must be followed by yelling and a move with curse in the name. That's true. He hits the Irish curse, knees Rusev in the guts from the top rope, and somehow only gets a 1 count because Rusev is fueled entirely by Sprite and carbs. Rusev hits a spinning heel kick that actually connects, rare, and fall-away slam that earns him another 2 count. Sheamus responds, but not 1, but 2 running knees that almost end it, but Rusev's spear had at least a +3 resistance to Irish finishers. It's enchanted. Cue the superplex from the top rope by Rusev that sends both men into low Earth orbit. I can't fucking talk.
You got
I
it
don't
out.
know why.
It's out
Before
there.
crashing down into another commercial, because apparently the match was too meaty for just one ad break, so we got to get 2. Final stretch. Both guys take the turns punching each other, like they're settling a bar tab from 2009. Sheamus hits the 10 beats of Bodran, I don't remember how they'll say it. Actually make it 15 because he's in a spicy mood. Rusev avoids the brogue kick and eats a running knee sandwich instead, still not dead. Things go fully 2005 SmackDown main event. Rusev hits a super kick, locks in the accolade. Sheamus somehow hulks up out of it. They tumble outside like 2 drunk guys fighting over the last Guinness, and Sheamus lands a brogue kick on the floor like he just unlocked a cutscene. Rusev barely beats the count at 9, but he's not done. He goes full heel, rakes the eyes, exposes the turnbuckle, and whatever the fuck kick Sheamus in next week. Rusev wins, and honestly, it's about time the guy got a win over somebody taller than Chad Gable. It was a 14-minute and 18-second fucking match.
Oh, you felt every second of it too, man.
That was like a AEW length of match with 2 big guys that have no business having that length of a match unless it's on a pay-per-view and they're like doing things.
It's described here as a delightful display of Haas violence. And that's fucking like registered and questionable cardio. I mean, I wouldn't question these guys' cardio. I mean, it's just they work fucking slow because that's the way that these fucking guys, guys work. And I don't know. It's just fucking. This is what Rusev wanted to leave fucking AEW for. I feel like they would have maybe ended up using him more dominantly over there. You know, fuck. I mean, maybe I don't know nothing.
Well, he finally gets a meaningful win that doesn't involve bullying people half his size or yelling about America in pre-tapes filmed in an empty warehouse. Maybe this is the start of a new run, or maybe next week he'll lose in a roll-up to Akira Tozawa. Who knows?
Akira Tozawa. That guy's super fucking tan. But anyways, we'll go ahead and move on. We got this Evolution Battle Royal announcement. Earlier today, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis put aside their ongoing Which Ball GM Has More Authority feud to deliver a huge announcement for Evolution. And by huge, we of course mean that the most copy-paste wrestling trope of all time, a Battle Royale. Yes, nothing says high-stakes prestige quite like a bunch of superstars awkwardly elbowing each other in a circle until someone gets thrown out like expired milk. The winner, well, they get a title shot about it, the Clash in Paris, because apparently I Survived This Group Mosh Pit is now a valid way to become the #1 contender. Pierce says it'll be the opportunity of a lifetime. Translation, we needed a way to fill 15 minutes on the card without booking actual storylines. Aldis smiles like he's announcing the main event of WrestleMania, while Pierce nods like he just realized that this is the 5th Battle Royal he's booked this month. So buckle up, 1 ring, 20 people, 4 storylines, and 0 chill. Who will win? Who will get tossed out in under 10 seconds? Who will randomly show up from NXT and confuse the commentary team? Find out at Evolution, aka the only show where 19 people's dreams get crushed so one person can lose clean in Paris. Don't got anything to add to that, do you?
No. God.
Take us on.
At least we're finally getting a build to this fucking shit.
Yeah, they're waiting, aren't they?
Yep, they're like AEW building this pay-per-view, it feels like. Jeez, it's a week away.
We knew about fucking Evolution 2 happening like probably like 3 months before they fucking announced that shit. So like, you're telling me that you didn't... I mean, I know some plans got fucked up with Liv getting hurt, but you telling me that you didn't have like all this stuff figured out?
I guess not.
Yeah.
So we go backstage and Jackie
Again?
Redmond catches up with American Made again to ask the big question on everyone's mind. How do you move on without Chad Gable? Spoiler alert, they don't know either. Ivy Nile, now the group's unofficial drill sergeant and emotional support kettlebell, confidently announces they'll be entering the Evolution Battle Royal because nothing screams team unity like separating into a giant free-for-all where only one can win. But before she can even finish her sentence, in walks El Grande Americano. Yes, Chad Gable's lucha alter ego reappears out of nowhere, strutting in like nothing's wrong. No sling, no limp, just pure patriotic mystery. He looks great, suspiciously great. Like this man either had miraculous shoulder surgery. Don't know what word I just said there. Shoulder, something like that. Faked the whole injury for plot reasons. Great. American Made, visibly confused as we all are. They just stare at him like they're watching a Scooby-Doo villain remove a mask in reverse. El Grande says nothing and walks off like a star-spangled phantom of the turnbuckle. Zero explanation. 10 of 10 entrance. They go to say something and Ivy just shushes them. And it was okay. It was all right. DJ, what do you think?
Not too much.
Anything?
We knew that we were talking about him doing this before it happened.
Yep.
You know, it's did we make a video about that? I don't think we did.
We talked about it. I don't know if we I think that was part of the Chad Gable injury segment.
Yeah, I believe so too.
You know that,
which is up right now if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, this is the direction that we heard they were going to go. It turns out that that's the way that they went, and it should be interesting seeing how Kaiser ends up playing. That's the guy's name, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he reminds me of Gabe from The Office, man. He's just a fucking weirdo. But
Tiffany Stratton's boyfriend, though. I mean,
nope, they broke up.
All right. Oh, for real?
Yeah, but anyway,
I got a chance, you guys. Nobody be weird to her. She's mine.
Well, if you got the same kind of mentality that a lot of these other guys have out there, you 100% have a chance.
Oh shit!
But
yeah, that's right. I'm gonna not take a shower and approach her at a convention.
I'd be like, I stink. Yeah, let's go hang out.
Yeah, I've been outside in Florida all day, girl.
Yeah.
For days.
Yeah, you'll stink fucking hanging out there. I fucking reeked at work today. I was like completely soaked, man, doing that deck. I didn't realize how wet I was. It's
terrible when it's like that.
Yeah, I didn't realize how wet I was till I was like done. I was like, oh shit. But anyways, now that segment's done, we got a little thing here not too long talking about the Karrion Kross attack and Zayn. So right after that segment, it went like she stopped interviewing them because she saw Sami Zayn sitting there. So she tried to run over. Ever the Pro tries to salvage the segment by pivoting to Sami Zayn, who shows up and says probably about 3 words before Karrion Kross ambushes him from the shadows like a horror movie villain who just unlocked lead pipe in his inventory. Yeah, I like how there's just random lead pipes always laying around in the back. Kross absolutely wallops Sammy and leaves him twitching on the concrete because nothing says main event push like attempted murder with a household tool. Well, that's not a tool. That's just a fucking item. But Yeah, I guess they're not done doing that, and they're going to continue that. And maybe they'll have Sammy off TV for a couple weeks to sell the beating. Or not. Sammy.
Probably not. He'll be back next week like nothing ever happened.
I think he will too. And I'll take us on here to the next one.
Oh, boy.
And it's the Evolution card taking shape. So far, the upcoming Evolution Premium Live event is shaping up to be a beautiful mess. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, but this is going to talk about it a little bit more. So earlier tonight, IYO SKY was channeling her inner final boss and said that she wants to defend her women's title against Rhea Ripley, right? So Rhea Ripley, who may or may not still be held together by duct tape after her street fight last week. So mark it down. World title match confirmed, and probably, be a decent match. But there's a little bit more because nothing says equal opportunity mayhem like that battle royal. So that's another one. We were talking about that earlier. And if that wasn't enough, we got the women's tag team championship fatal 4-way match featuring the 4 teams like we talked about earlier. So we got 3 there. So I wonder if this is going to be more like their PLEs that they've had going on recently, where it's only like 4 or 5 matches, because that's what all of them are like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, so I think it was like 6 on Night of Champions. So yeah, it'll probably be like 4 to 6 matches.
People are going to complain. They're going to, why wasn't this like the WrestleMania of a card for women? They always want them to have like the equal opportunity and for stuff to be better for them, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's they're getting an all-women card.
I know, but they're going to want it to be as big as as big a deal as WrestleMania. It's going to have to be a 2-night card here at some point in the future. It's going to be that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure so who was it? I don't know if we should break this or not yet, but have you seen that on SmackDown, which was taped last night, that they had Tiffany Stratton talking to a female from the past that had came back?
No, I did not. I haven't seen anything about SmackDown yet.
Oh, well, it's pretty obvious who it might be because she's always coming back these days. But we won't ruin that.
She's got what's on her back?
Nothing. I said that an old wrestling chick from the Attitude Era came back, and that's who they're going to have go against Tiffany at the pay-per-view.
I thought you said something else.
Yeah, I'm acting weird because I don't want to ruin it for anybody, I guess.
Let's not, because not everybody gets online and.
Well, it was ruined for me. I didn't even want to see it. I was just scrolling.
Don't ruin it for everybody else.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm just saying I was scrolling and it got ruined for me. But all that stuff's already been taped, because they're not going to be working Friday, which is cool. They're getting the July 4th off.
Yeah, that is really cool, actually.
I'm sitting at work in the fucking truck, and we're about to leave, and then, like, the boss guy comes up and he's like, yo, you guys want to take Friday off? And it's like, yeah. We did fucking last year, right? What's different about... So we're taking...
The fuck do you mean? We already were under the impression we were taking Friday off, Doc.
I wasn't going to be there either way, so it's...
Right.
But
Miss me with that shit.
Yeah, they'll be paying us too, so it'll be fine. But anyways, we can go ahead and move on from that if you want. Be looking forward to the next couple matches that they add on. I think, like I said, I know the one that Tiffany's going to be involved in, and maybe they'll have 1 or 2 more besides that. We'll move on. You want to talk about Gunther coming out and talk a little bit of trash here, and Punk coming out, and Rollins, and all that shit?
Yeah, the ring general and current world heavyweight champion Gunther marches to the ring like he's about to recite the terms of surrender, not cut a promo, in his target, Bill Goldberg, a.k.a. the human jackhammer who hasn't wrestled a full match since dial-up internet was still a thing. Gunther says that he loved that Goldberg highlight reel earlier. He might be the only one. It was short, explosive, and perfectly captured Goldberg's entire moveset in under 3 minutes. Kind of like his matches. Savage. He gives Goldberg some flowers, saying that he left a mark on everyone he wrestled, which is a polite way of saying he spiked half the roster with unsaved spears in the early 2000s. But Gunther makes it clear he's not impressed by nostalgia or delusion. Goldberg wants one last hurrah. Gunther plans to turn it into one last snap. In fact, Gunther promises to drag the match out, blow Goldberg up like an overinflated beach ball, and humiliate him in front of his family, friends, and possibly that one old WCW fan who still thinks Goldberg was robbed at Starrcade 99. He wasn't, by the way. Gunther says Goldberg doesn't like bullies. Too bad. He is the bully, and this bully has cardio. Then, when you think Gunther is done cooking, Seth Rollins' music hits, and out comes with Paul Heyman. Because why not? Heyman is now apparently Rollins' life coach / hype man. The fans sing, the jacket sparkles. The shirt that he was wearing kind of looked like a lady's teddy or something. I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing. Gunther immediately dunks on Seth's failed Money in the Bank cash-in like he's reading from a roast script. He basically tells Seth congrats on all the miles traveled for 0 results. Ouch. Rollins claps back, explaining that he flew all the way to Saudi not to win the title, but to stop CM Punk from winning one, which is the wrestling version of I didn't fail the test, I was sabotaging the curb. Rollins shifts gears and declares war on both titles. It's Reth Solins. And he shifts gears and declares war on both titles, like I said a second ago, which is cute because right on cue, CM Punk hits the ring and tackles him like he's trying out for the Bears. They brawl for a second, and then Seth just snopes right out of there, sprinting through the arena like he just realized his Uber was leaving. Punk climbs the turnbuckle to bask in his own chaos, only for Gunther, who's been standing there the whole time like a disapproving gym teacher, to shove him off and growl, "Stay out of my business." Translation, "You're not even in the feud. Beat it, Phil." Meanwhile, as the segment wasn't overbooked enough, LA Knight ambushes Rollins in the crowd because apparently everybody hates Seth tonight. They brawl in the concourse. Rollins hurls a bucket of ice at him like he's playing WWE Mario Kart and then runs off again. No resolution, no security, no logic, just heat, chaos, and at least 3 feuds exploding into one 6-minute span. In short, pure sports entertainment gold. It actually was pretty entertaining. It wasn't great, but it was entertaining.
Yeah,
what did you think of this?
Just about what you said. I mean, it was some crazy shit, just a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I liked LA Knight just showing up out of nowhere. And then they did the classic fight up by the concessions and all that, which is a good old fun spot. I remember AEW used to do that spot a lot. And it's this is the first time I think it's happened in a little bit, from my knowledge. May or not. But a little bit goofy, but not bad. And I think that might be the description for what we got going on here. And it's a backstage that Judgment Day is celebrating like they got a group rate on gold-plated therapy sessions. Everyone's got a title, everyone's smug, and life is great. Unless your name is Raquel Rodriguez, who is not here for this let's replace Liv Morgan like she's a missing remote control energy. Raquel's mid-freak out when Finn Balor calmly tries to hit her with the injury sympathy card. He reminds her, "Hey, I tore my shoulder too. Remember, it sucked. Get used to it." Translation, Liv ain't coming back anytime soon, so we got Roxanne now. Deal with it. You completely unnecessary, but somehow on-brand Judgment Day vote, because apparently they run their faction like a dysfunctional HOA board. Finn and JD, they both say yes. They got big grins, full commitment, probably already made her a custom shirt. Dom says yes. He wants to talk to Liv first, but they talk him into just making the decision himself. And he has the enthusiasm of a kid saying grace before eating Brussels sprouts. And Raquel says yes with the tone of someone saying it's fine when it's not really that fine. Roxanne Perez is just standing there smiling like she wanted her to a group project she didn't sign up for. She says that she's just here to help everybody out, which is adorable considering this is a group built on betrayal, title theft, and Tom trying to grow facial hair. But Roxanne's not just here to be nice. She's got a hit list. First target, Kairi Sane, the pirate princess who took out Liv. And suddenly, Raquel's like, okay, we can agree on that one, because if there's one thing that'll unite the team, it's violence for a shared grudge. So to recap, Liv's out, Roxanne's in. The faction's now run by voting, which it already was. Raquel's one eye twitch away from snapping, and Sane is unknowingly been scheduled for destruction. Long live the most emotionally unstable champion squad in WWE history. Not bad, just furthering the storyline with the Judgment Day. They're all over this show. Right,
Yeah,
Dave?
just like we were saying earlier about the Judgment Day, you know, they're using them well, and they're all over the show. And this is like the third time we've talked about them this show.
Yeah, it is. And that being said, if you want, take us on with this number one contenders match with Bayley and Lyra.
Well, we get Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria, a match to determine who will do the honors of losing to Becky at Evolution. And it starts like any good number one's contender match with shoulder blocks and hip tosses straight out of 95. Bayley throws a running clothesline that earns a 1 count, which honestly feels rude considering the effort. Lyra answers with a flurry of backslides and cartwheels like she's doing a gymnastics audition and wrestling match at the same time. But then Bayley catapults her into the corner like enough of that Cirque du Soleil crap. And we get a Boston Crab from Bayley, which might have worked in 2004, but just gives Lyra time to counter and go for another roll-up. Because, of course, they both attempt running cross bodies at the same time. And collide like two Sims that walked into the same doorway.
Oh, man, that's
Cue the
rough.
mid-match commercial break. Yeah. Me talking about it is going pretty rough, too. Because pacing. What's that? Back from the break, we go straight into the superplex. There's a little trademark thing. Because that's how you let the audience know this is serious now. They trade near falls, back suplexes, swinging neck breakers, basically emptying their 2K move list like their controllers are stuck. Bayley hits her classic jump off the steps and elbow you spot. Lyra counters with a gut-wrench powerbomb out of nowhere, strong bird energy, and both women decide it's time for the mandatory block each other's finisher and roll around like maniacs portion of the match. And then, the ending. A double roll-up, 4 shoulders down, ref counts 3, a draw. Let's be clear here. Nobody wins. Not Bayley, not Lyra, not the referee. Who has to explain to Becky Lynch that neither woman technically earned a title shot? Hope that guy has dental insurance because Becky's going to take a bite out of someone over this. Naturally, Bayley and Lyra start scrapping like two girls who just reached for the same prom dress at a Hot Topic. They fight into the crowd, over chairs, past the front row, almost into somebody's nachos before securities and referees jump in. Okay, we gave you 7 minutes and a finish. Now stop it. Winner. Literally no one. 7 minutes, 49 seconds. Match ends in a draw. Double count out. Recipe.
Yeah, recipe.
Referee Jessica Carr makes the call, infuriating both competitors. Bayley and Valkyria continue brawling, and just like we said, it was not a great match. 1.5 stars, maybe. I don't know.
Fuck this.
Literally, fuck this.
Seemed way better from both these chicks as of late. So I don't know what went on here.
Nope.
I guess they're trying to working with each other. Maybe they don't like each other anymore.
It's clear that they're going to make it a triple threat match for the
absolutely.
PLE.
100%. But let's go ahead and move on. We don't need to linger on that shit. Seth Rollins is officially set to face LA Knight at Saturday night's main event. That should be cool. Because nothing screams main event hype like two guys who can't finish a sentence without CM Punk lurking nearby like a bitter ex with revenge diary. Speaking of which, backstage, Jackie Redmond, once again doing the work of 12 unpaid interns, tries to get a word in with CM Punk. She asks what's going on through his head, which is bold considering Punk's brain is basically a live-action Twitter thread at this point. Punk says that he's got receipts for anyone who gets in his face, so he's apparently running a revenge-based loyalty program now. Buy one beef, get one steak attack free, or sneak attack free. Then in classic,
I like the steak attack too, honestly.
Yeah, same here. He whacks him upside the head with some steak. Then in classic creepy Punk fashion, he runs up on LA Knight like a guy who just found his ex talking to someone new. Punk gets in his face and says Rollins is his, like he's claiming a parking spot at WrestleMania. But LA Knight is not here for the drama. He claps back with you can have Rollins 6 days of the week. But Saturday night's main event, he's mine. Yeah! Which is probably the most LA Knight thing ever said. This is petty, it's cocky, and it's punctuated with a catchphrase that he's legally required to say every 45 seconds or he melts. Yeah! So we're going to sum it up again. Rollins is fighting LA Knight at the Saturday Night's main event. Punk is mad that someone else is fighting Rollins, and LA Knight is mad that Punk is mad. And Jackie Redmond is trying to make it to commercial break without being drop kicked by somebody or passing out. She's running all over the fucking place.
Yeah, she's getting her steps in.
Yeah, somewhere Seth is trying to figure out what he did wrong besides exist. But
He knows.
anyways, it's again more backstage shit, but it's all for a reason, you know. And like none of this shit's pointless, which is the good thing. And it's for the most part with people that you care about, besides maybe a couple. But I'll move us on here. And we got backstage. Sami Zayn is getting his ribs taped up like a mummy with trust issues. Penta El Zero stops by with actual concern and asks Sami sure that he can wrestle tonight. Sami responds by dapping him up, which is wrestling code for I'm definitely ignoring medical advice. So that's a yes. And meanwhile, over in the big beefy men with questions sections of the locker room, Bronson Reed is on a mission. He storms up to Paul Heyman and asks where Seth Rollins is, and Paul's probably tired of being WWE's unofficial travel agent and tells him that Rollins is already on a jet preparing for Plan B. Naturally, Bronson asks, what's Plan B? Cue Braun Breaker, who steps in like the human version of the Monster Energy drink and says Plan B is me smashing everybody. Which is that's his fucking answer to everything, funny enough. Very subtle, very nuanced, and he's basically the football player who skipped a team meeting but still wants to start. Paul, clearly trying to say Plan B is something way more complicated involving lawyers, contracts, and probably pyro, attempts to explain, but Braun cuts him off like, nah bro, no strategy, just violence. Then demands his music be played like he's about to storm the ring or headline Coachella, whichever comes first. And then that takes us into this match here, which is the tag team match with Sami Zayn, Penta, Braun Breaker, Big Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman. You want to take us into that?
Oh boy. This match kicked off with Penta doing some vintage lucha things that kind of resembled a head scissors, but mostly resembled an overly ambitious yoga pose. Luckily, he recalibrated midair. I can't fucking talk tonight. Nailed a proper Rana and tagged in Sami, who came in swinging, unless he got absolutely obliterated by a 27-mile-per-hour clothesline from Breaker, which we assume was clocked by NASCAR. Bronson Reed tags in, splashes Sami in the corner like a wave of angry maple syrup, and we're off to the races. Penta and Sami managed to dump both big lads onto the floor for a synchronized lucha dive, and it's beautiful chaos. Commercial break, again, because nothing builds drama like an ad for car insurance. Back from break, Bronson is actively trying to detach Penta's head like he's opening a jar of pickles. Penta fights back with a step-up enziguri and tags in Sami, who goes full speed with 20 punches in the corner, or maybe just 12. We're rounding up because passion. Sami hits a springboard moonsault on both Brawns like it's 2016 again, but Bronson returns fire with a Death Valley driver that shook the arena, near fall. Braun Breaker climbs the ropes like he's preparing to go for a top rope seminar, but gets knocked off. Moments later, he clotheslines Sami so hard he bounces off the announce table like a crash test dummy. If Sami's ribs weren't wrecked before, they are now. File an HR complaint. Back from yet another commercial, Braun's got Sami in a waistlock, but Sami flips him to the floor and stumbles to Penta like he's reaching for salvation. Tag made. Penta goes lucha mode, flying everywhere. Cross bodies, drop kicks, spinny kicks, and the sacrifice. He nearly nails the Penta driver, but Braun says nope, tries a military press, only for Penta to Matrix DDT his way out of it for 2. Heyman, sensing the team might actually lose, hops onto the apron like a concerned PTA parent just in time for Bronson to trip Penta and set up for a Frankenbreaker from Braun. Sit out powerbomb for 2, but Sami saves like a broken-hearted ex in a rom-com finale. Bronson goes up top, misses the tsunami splash like a meteor barely missing Earth, and everyone starts tagging like it's hot potato. Sami hits an exploder suplex in the corner, lines up a haluva kick, but eats a breaker line instead. Yes, we're calling it that now. Sami rallies with a kick of his own, but before he can finish, Bronson drags Penta out, and chaos resumes. All these matches have chaos in them on every show. Suplex attempts are dodged like taxes, and eventually Sami hits a vertical suplex on the Bronson on the shock of literally everybody. It's crazy. Then boom, spear. Breaker turns Sami inside out and pins him with extreme prejudice. Your winners are Breaker and Bronson Reed. 12-minute, 49-second match. Maybe 3.5 stars. I don't know. It wasn't bad. You know, big boys fly, lucha boys spin. Sami Sami Zayn dies for our entertainment. So does Sami Zayn. And it was an okay match. You know, like I said, probably like 3.5 stars, maybe 3 stars. I don't know. Average. What did you think of this stuff, DJ?
It was all right. You know, it's sure seem a lot of the same motherfuckers working together a lot. You know, but what can you do? They I'm not trying to spin that as a negative. It's just, you know, we've seen a lot of these guys working together, but it was a decent match, and I don't know. Sometimes the forced tag matches don't feel as big as maybe a single could, but I mean, everybody was decent enough here. This is what you would expect the match to be. Nothing crazy. I'll say the same thing I said 100 times before. I don't know if it's 100 times, but if you like wrestling in a very clean, professional-look environment that's shot extremely well and has fucking awesome production, this is the wrestling show for you. It was all right. I'd probably give if it's like a 3 out of 5, something like that. The show is kind of average.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Well, I guess that being said, that'll end our
the OverMark Entertainment WWE Raw review.
And
oh wow,
yeah, I think that's going to take us here to the start of our news segment here, and I'll lead us in, but it's going to take us to
an OverMark Entertainment exclusive,
which is a report that we have here, which I think's been going around for a little bit, but people are really starting to sink their teeth into the story, so I think where there's smoke, there's fire. Cody Rhodes is in talks to play Guile in Street Fighter. Nexus points to news reports that Cody Rhodes is in talks to portray Guile in the upcoming Street Fighter live-action film. Guile, known for his flat-top haircut, sonic boom attack, and iconic theme music, debuted in Street Fighter II and has remained one of the franchise's most recognizable characters. He's a U.S. Air Force colonel driven by vengeance against M. Bison, while he's still maintaining a family life. Guile was previously played by Jean-Claude Van Damme in the 1994 version of Street Fighter. Rhodes would join a cast that already includes Noah Centineo as Ken, Andrew Koji as Ryu, Jason Momoa as Blanca, Roman Reigns as Akuma, 50 Cent as Balrog. What the fuck? As Chung Li, Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki, Orville Peck as Vega, and David Dasmaclan as M. Bison. The film is being developed by Legendary Pictures in partnership with Capcom and will be distributed by Sony Pictures. It is directed by Kateo Sakurai. He did Bad Trip, which is an awesome movie. If you guys haven't seen it, it's funny. But with a script by Dalen Mosin, Captain America, Brave New World. Danny and Michael Philippou were previously attached to direct it before exiting the project. The most recent game, Street Fighter VI, released in 2023. It won the Best Fighting Game at the Game Awards. Got anything to add to that, Dave?
Not really. It's pretty cool that Cody, I say not really and then add stuff. It's pretty cool that Cody will end up doing that probably. I wonder how long it will pull him away for.
Who knows? He's the kind of guy that'll be up and down the road. If they got plans for him, he'll go do that, come back. It's hard to tell. It's kind of weird because I don't know if you've seen Cena's schedule, but it's looking like Cody's about to beat him. So I don't know. Interesting circumstances and timing here. But that being said, I think we can move on from that if you don't have anything else to add, and we will jump into our next.
An OverMark Entertainment exclusive.
And you want to talk to us about our new segment here called The Forbidden Gimmick.
Well, we got a new segment here called The Forbidden Gimmick. And do you want me to take your section and you take mine? Or what do you want to do?
Yeah, actually, I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyways, this episode's entry is Val Venus. If you guys don't remember, he's the porn star wrestler. But basically, let's step back for a second. So this segment, it's going to basically be about us, and we're going to be talking about whether or not we think that an older gimmick or angle, anything that kind of happened back in the day in wrestling and apply it to today and if it would work today, right? So I feel like this is like the perfect guy to talk about on the like debut edition of this segment, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I'll start us off here. It's Val Venus. And so, all right, folks, time once again for Forbidden Gimmick, where we dig up a wrestling gimmick that absolutely should not work and ask the question, could it fly today? Spoiler alert, no.
Today's entry, the big Valboski himself, Val Venus. I said Venus there. I don't know why it's Venus. Yes, in the late 90s, WWE's solution to a ratings war was give a man a towel and tell kids he was a porn star. A literal adult film actor. His finisher was called the Money Shot. He opened his promos with "Hello, ladies," like he was calling the 900 number.
Well, funny enough, the crowd loved it. He got cheered like a mid-card god. He had real feuds, Intercontinental Championship title runs, even got castrated by Japanese gangsters and came back the next week like nothing happened.
Saw the message. Jumpy, jumpy, yo! Beep, beep!
Oh, no.
Yeah. Try pitching this in 2025. Hey, Hunter, what if one of our baby faces was Dirk Diggler with a mullet? Corporate's going to call security.
Yeah, Val Venus was like if Ron Jeremy did the Bret Hart 5 Moves of Doom. You know what you were getting. Towel spin, hip thrust, and a man who made 13-year-olds very confused. 100%. I was like 11 at the time or something.
But let's be fair. The man could actually wrestle. Val was underrated in the ring, just very overrated in pelvic thrusts per minute.
So we got our final verdict. Forbidden. Like a hard no. But if they ever make a Brazzers Championship Wrestling, he's the man. You know, book him as the GM immediately. He'll run that thing, right?
Yeah, and give him his old theme song with the saxophone. We need closure.
Yeah. It's funny because, you know, I remember the feud with Ken Shamrock. Remember he was hitting on the sister, and just he was in a lot of really ridiculous shit. And I just remember being a kid just watching it, like, you know, it's not sinking in because I was like completely gullible and just somewhat innocent in some ways, but it was something else. And you're a little bit older than me, so I imagine you were watching this with a different set of eyes, being like, "Holy shit!"
I was just kind of like, why is this guy a thing? You know, why is he having promos in the woods with Jenna Jameson?
Yeah, it was different. And,
yeah.
We're never going to see that again. And in this case, that is a fucking good thing. No, we don't need to see the porn star wrestler. And I think we can move on from that one there.
I mean, what are you talking about? Half of these gals in AEW have on OnlyFans. We're seeing porn star wrestlers every Wednesday and Saturday, dog.
That's a pretty solid point, actual porn stars. No, they're models. They're models.
Right, yeah, no, they're not actively having sex on camera, you know. They'd be making a lot more money if they were.
Technically, I feel like the chicks that were in Playboy that you only saw pinups of were still qualified as porn stars, right? I was just making fun of the fact that a lot of these girls that are getting fucked on camera on that website are clearly saying that they're models when you're not. A model is somebody up there that does like the whole magazine thing, the swimsuit stuff, the
on the catwalk, shit. All that jazz.
Yeah, that is not what you're doing at all. But a little bit off topic, and we'll move on to our next segment here, which is also
an OverMark Entertainment exclusive.
We're bringing them back today.
Yeah, we are. And we got another push or pass for you here. So it's time for another rousing segment of Push or Pass, where we pick one wrestler getting a spotlight or a major push, and we decide, are we in, or is this a waste of TV time? And this episode's feature is Sheamus. What do you think, Dave?
Well, you know, I purposely picked Sheamus for you for this. When I was trying to think of a segment for the show, I was like, oh, push or pass. And then I'm like, well, who do we push or pass? And then I was like, oh, Sheamus. This will be a good one for TJ. And, you know, for me, it's going to be a pass. You know, nothing wrong with Sheamus. I enjoy his work. I feel like his time has come and gone. You know, maybe we can have him like gatekeep mid-card or something like that. But he doesn't really need to be on TV all that much anymore, if we're being honest, you know. I just, it's a respectful pass for me. Sorry, Sheamus, and I am a fan of what you're doing on your YouTube channel. Yeah, I enjoy your show very much. Yeah. What about you, TJ?
I don't think that they're pushing him. They're just somebody that he's friends with everybody there, and they're gonna keep him around and probably put other guys over like he just did with fucking Rusev. But we don't know that for sure. That's just what happened last week. But I've seen my fill of Sheamus. I'm sure he's a great guy, and he's a decent enough wrestler, but he's the kind of guy, like, once you've seen him a little bit, you've seen everything he has to offer. He has really stiff matches. A couple of his moves he really lays in, but I would have to pass too, and just don't really need to see him on TV too much these days. And be nice if there was big breaks in between him being on the show. That way, when he did pop up, I guess you were excited again to see him. But not too much going on. He's kind of amazing how it seems like he's never been in the sun. He's been that same complexion the entire time I've ever seen him, and that's about all I got to say about that.
Funny that you mentioned that. I did notice that when I was watching the Raw back here today, he's got like some sunspots and stuff on him now.
Oh, does he?
Well, I mean, he's just years of being alive. Eventually, you start to get those no matter what.
Yeah, he is getting up there a little bit. He's still got some hair,
he's like 47 or 48, yeah.
Yeah, he's got that hair. That's not going anywhere. I'm thinking a little bit thinner than it used to be, but
yeah, I mean, his hairline is creeping back a bit, but I mean, he's 47 or whatever.
Yeah, he's in great shape.
But anyway, yeah.
At least he's got that going for him. But I think that'll conclude our news segments here. So. And I think that's what we got for you today, wherever you're at, whenever you're listening. What was that?
Oh.
It sounds like he's got more to say than... Oh, Walmart? Wow, what about it? You going there later?
Walmart. Yeah.
So it's like, Dave, let me ask you a question. What store has the best deals?
Walmart.
You made it. Yeah. Now you win nothing, but at least you got the answer right.
Grr.
But yeah, it's like always. We're gonna sign off here. It's been a fun one, right, Dave?
It was more fun of an episode considering that the show wasn't bad. Usually we have more fun like this if the show that we watched and are reviewing was bad. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, we're gonna try to keep it a little bit lighter on the shows if we can. If something's real bad, we'll shit on it. But we're just gonna poke fun and try to have fun here, so everybody gets their enjoyment. But if something's too bad, we're definitely gonna call them like we sees them. But anyways, we're gonna be showing up here. When is it? Thursday, and we're gonna be talking about Dynamite, and we'll have some more segments for you. Maybe some new ones, maybe not. Maybe some more of the same, maybe not. Check out our social media at OverMark ENT. It's all the same shit that everybody else is using out there. But yeah, I appreciate you, Dave. All the
appreciate the shit out of you too, TJ.
All the hard work we put in, and it's fun like always. And we'll be right back at it talking about wrestling right after we stop this, so it never ends. And appreciate you guys. If you'd like, sub, comment, whatever you got going. But that'll be it from me. Say bye, Dave, and we'll get out of here.
Bye, Dave.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Have a good one, guys.